This girl dreamed of her future husband. Heck, she even went out to the city and physically looked for him, but not for the temporary satisfaction that we're often chasing guys for. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here. Today, I'm going to be talking about being content in singleness, which I feel like this topic is like both so over talked about and so under talked about, and I just really want to dig into it because it's something that's just really on my heart. So this is for all you single ladies, so let's just dig right into it. I have notes on my phone because otherwise I'll ramble too much. So the title of this video is Content Singleness, but you want to know what I'm going to say first? I hate the phrase content singleness. I hate that phrase, and I'm sure now you're like, well then why are you making a video about this? Okay, because I want to set the record straight. This phrase has been used improperly. It's been twisted and turned into like so many different things that it's not, and I had the wrong understanding of what this really meant for years. Like, from the time that I guess I would consider myself like single, like, I always thought that being content in singleness meant that you could not want to be married someday. And I'm here to tell you, it's okay to want to be married, to want to be in a relationship. It's okay. This is what I've done. We're gonna kind of go through a little process here, examine ourselves, and then tie it all back together. So stick around, like seriously, I'm so excited for this video. The desire to be married is not wrong. We've already established this, okay? It's okay to want to be married. It's not wrong. What's wrong, and what the problem is most of the time, is the motivation behind this desire. Why? It's the why that's wrong. We were all designed by God with this natural desire. What's wrong is the motivation. We're going to go through 3 questions and we're going to figure this out all together. Just chatty, you and me. Okay. Ask yourself, why do you want to be married? What's your motivation? What do you want or need right now that you think you'll get out of marriage? And I really want you to think about this. So, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I wish that I was married or had a boyfriend or whatever pretty frequently. And then I have to ask myself, why? Like, in that moment when I'm wanting that, why do I want that? So ask yourself, what is it right now that you want? That you are like, well, if I had a boyfriend, I would have that. Or if I was married, I would have that. Like, what's that thing? Okay? So for me, it's comfort and safety. Those are like the 2 main things that most of the time when I'm like, oh, I really wish I had a boyfriend, or oh, I really wish I was married, it's because I'm wanting either comfort or safety, or both. So whatever that is for you, okay, keep that in your head. Alright, when is this desire or need most prevalent, and when does it peak? So for me, I'm going to ask myself, okay, I want comfort and safety. When does that desire and need in my heart, when is that the most prevalent, where it gets to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna lose my mind? Like, when is that? Think about it. Write this stuff down, girls, like for real. I wrote all this down. So my desire for marriage spikes when I feel sad, threatened, overwhelmed, scared, unheard, or overlooked. I know it's like a lot of things. So we're thinking about this. Okay, it's not wrong to want marriage. It's the motivation that's often wrong. So my motivation, most of the time, this isn't all the time, but most of the time, my motivation is because I want comfort, or I want to feel safe. I want safety. And most of the time, that desire and need for comfort is when I'm feeling sad or threatened or scared or unheard, overlooked, all those things that I just said. This is the last question. So why does it peak then? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I really want to be married. I really want a boyfriend. Why? Well, because I want to feel comfort, I want to feel safe, I want to feel loved. Okay, when do I feel that way the most? When I'm feeling sad or scared or overlooked. Why do I feel that way then? My main love language is physical touch. So we're going to even dig into the whole love language thing here. So if you have not taken the love language quiz, go take it. It helps not just in this situation with romance, but also I really think it helps with your friendships. My main love language is physical touch, which I feel like is not talked about so much for girls. I feel like it's kind of like a, oh, that's a guy thing. But yeah, my main love language is physical touch, and then the other one is words of affirmation. So if I'm in any of these situations or feeling any of these things that I've said like 5 times now, you know what I'm talking about, I want to be held. Hugged. Like literally. Like I told my friends, I'm like, if I'm sad or upset or whatever, don't say anything to me. Just hug me. In silence. Just hug me. That makes me feel safe, valued, loved, comforted, all those things. And for you, it might be something different. It might be like you want them to say stuff to you, like words of affirmation is a big one. You want them to do something for you. So I want to be held in that situation. Specifically, I want to be held by a man. And it's just a safety like feeling. Like the safest I ever feel is when my dad or my grandpa or my youth pastor, ironically, but I mean he's basically a second dad to me, but when any of them hug me, like that's when I feel safest. That's where I find safety, that's where I find comfort. And so it's very, 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 like I can't even tell you, easy for me to fall into that mindset whenever I'm even just like lonely. Like I'll literally like sit in my bed that night and be like, man, I'm really lonely. Like I literally just want somebody to come and give me a hug. Like daily. I'm not even kidding. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this lighting. Hang on a second. Okay, I guess we're just gonna move the camera over here now and ignore the fact that my room's a mess. And yeah, there are curtains on the floor and it's fine. So, anyways, that is what I crave, especially in those moments where, like, I'm sure all you single ladies know, there are like sometimes where it doesn't bother you so much. You're like, hey, I'm like living my life. It's great. I don't need a man. Like, I'm great. And then there are times where you literally just sit and you're like, where is this boy? Like, for real. I need a man. And so it's like in those moments, for me, what I'm craving that comfort and safety, which comes in the form, for me, of a hug, or like, just let me lay my head on your shoulder, or whatever. For you, that might be something completely different, and you need to like recognize that about yourself too. I wrote this down, which this is where all this comes together. So we've just done a whole like self-examination of ourselves. So now how does this all go together? I want to feel safe, loved, cared for, and valued. I mean, who doesn't, right? I'm sure that's how you want to feel too. And we all accomplish that feeling in different ways. And that's where the love languages really become important, is we all have that innate desire to feel loved and valued, but we all feel that way in different ways. For some people, it's like, do not touch me, I don't want to hug. Like, that does not make me feel any more important. But for me, that does make me feel more important and more loved. And so that's where the love languages really tie in. So I want to feel this way, we all want to feel this way, and we all accomplish that feeling in different ways. someday I pray that a man will walk into my life who makes me feel that way, because he is modeling Christ. And just pause right there. Did you catch the key word there? Modeling. I shouldn't be dependent on a man for that value and love and feeling of being cared for in a physical sense, because I should first be fully dependent on Christ for that. And the only reason a man will ever be able to accomplish that for me, like the only reason a man will ever be able to love me and make me feel loved and make me feel cared for and make me feel valued, is because he's modeling Christ in his actions, in his words, in his thoughts, in his prayers. And that's so important. One day, hopefully for me and hopefully for you, a man will come into your life or my life and sweep us off our feet, give us that feeling of love and importance that we crave every single day. But we can't be dependent on him for that, and he can't even be dependent on him for that. The only reason he's going to be able to accomplish that is because Christ is in him and loving me through him in the same way that Christ directly loves us and pours into us. I know, it's a lot, and we're going to keep going because this is good. So, marriage is a beautiful design by God, and it's meant to fill us in a way, but it should not fill us first. And that's what the whole idea of being content in singleness should mean. Marriage is meant to fill us. Marriage is meant to be this beautiful, perfect thing that God designed specifically for us to fill that desire in our heart, but it's not supposed to fill us first. We're going to go all the way back to creation to understand this concept. God created Adam, and Adam was in perfect communion with God, walked with God like we can't even comprehend what that was truly like, because this is before sin. But Adam was in perfect communion with God and completely full. He did not need Eve. I'm going to say it again. He did not need Eve, and he didn't ask for Eve. Adam had nothing to do with the creation of Eve. Like, that's just it. He didn't need Eve. God gave him Eve to demonstrate his love for Adam. And that right there, my friends, is what marriage, is what relationships should be for us. We do not need a man. Adam didn't need Eve. But God places that person in your life at the right time to show you his love. Marriage is often over-glorified, especially in Christianity, as this thing that will somehow magically make you whole. It's like this ultimatum, like, goal. It's meant to be a demonstration of the wholeness you have with God, not actually be the wholeness. Jesus was very single and very whole, and Jackie Hill Perry is where I heard that, and that girl is bomb. But Jesus was very single and very whole. And like, pause right there, because I know you're thinking like, well, yeah, because he was Jesus and he was fully God. And yeah, he was Jesus. He was fully God. But he was also fully man. Like, he was 33 when he was crucified. He lived 33 years and he was fully man. Now, you cannot tell me that every 16-year-old boy, they're going to walk down the street, they're going to look over at this girl, and they're going to be like, hey, she's cute. That's just our natural human instinct. So, Jesus was fully man with these same temptations. Satan tempted Jesus, right? We all know that. But, I mean, Satan tempted Jesus a bunch. He faced the same temptations that we do. So in the romantic department, you better bet he was tempted too. So I'm sure, 16-year-old Jesus is walking down the street like, hey, there's a girl over there, like, she's cute. Difference was, he was whole. He was completely whole in his singleness because he was fully communing with God. And God's will was the most important thing to him. It's like, ouch. Like, ouch. For real. And I honestly had never thought of Jesus in that way before. And, like, I've been thinking about it a lot the last, couple weeks as I've been prepping for this video. And I'm like, dang, that kind of hurt. Singleness is a season that will most likely end. So enjoy it. There are many things you can do in your singleness that you can't do in marriage. And there are many things you can do in marriage that you can't do in singleness. And they're both season, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. Both are beautiful and both should be enjoyed because they're both temporary seasons. Neither one will last forever. Going back to the beginning, let's make it okay to desire marriage for the right reasons. So my favorite verses are in Song of Solomon, and I'm going to try to do this video before the camera does. Please don't die. Alright, Song of Solomon 3:1-3. On my bed by night I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him but found him not. I'll rise now and go about this city in the streets and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him but found him not. The watchmen found me as they went about in the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? Scarcely had I passed them when I found whom my soul loves. This is from the girl's perspective. This girl's like, I'm dreaming about this boy. I'm looking for this boy. Where is he? And then she finally finds him. These verses make it clear this girl dreamed of her future husband. Heck, she even went out to the city and physically looked for him, but not for the temporary satisfaction that we're often chasing guys for. Why did she seek him? It says she sought the one whom her soul loved. And I just exposed myself. Most of the time when I'm like, dang, I really want a boyfriend or a husband, it's literally because I want someone to hug me or hold my hand when I'm sad, scared, or ignored. And I just exposed myself. So be honest with yourself. That's what I want in those moments when I'm like, I really want a boyfriend. I'm like, I literally just want somebody to give me a hug. Not because I want to love someone with my entire being or soul, as these verses say. Marriage is a two-way street. Yeah, when I find that man, I'll get the hugs and the whatever physical comfort that I want, the love and the safety that I want. But more than that, he'll love me just as Christ loves the church. And I will love him in the same way back. And that's a whole new territory. She says, I found the one whom my soul loves. And that is why we should be desiring marriage. It says it right there. This girl says it right there. That's why we should be desiring marriage. Not because we want to hug, not because we want someone to tell us we're pretty, not because we want to move out, not because we want to do it with somebody, not because of any of that. We should be wanting marriage and looking for the one that our soul loves. Until that day comes, we can be very, very full and whole in singleness because we're being loved by the perfect lover. Marriage isn't meant to fill the hole in your heart, but to grow your heart and teach you more about God's love. And that's why we should be desiring marriage, is to see God's love demonstrated in a whole new way. Not because we want the temporary satisfaction that we chase boys for on a daily basis. So, let's steward the single season and live it out, so that when that day comes and Prince Charming sweeps you off your feet, you can also fully live in that season of loving the one that your soul was meant to love. And I know that was a lot, but if you can live in that mindset of, I want to find the one whom my soul loves, like that girl in Song of Solomon, then your single season will be full and whole and lived. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment any more single topics you want me to talk about. You know this is a series. And go follow me over on Instagram. And don't forget to live in grace and love with grace. And I'll see you in the next one.